Hello, everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 1, Under Locks and Keys. When we last left off, the party continued their exploration of the cursed and deadly Suicide Hollow, held under the captivity of a Britannian pirate hunter, their merchant ally negotiating for the free turnover of the next key in exchange for the elimination of a predator that stalks them in the night. And your crew, meanwhile, their lives hang in the balance. After uncovering some of the mysteries of the island, you guys found a way into the mountain, where the pirate hunter Bowman insisted on accompanying you, although with you all acting as scouts and leaders, as you search for the pirate and former ally Red, who, along with the strange parasite he carried with them, may be responsible for at least some of the dangers currently skulking the island. Although there is, of course, a few unsolved mysteries. The ghosts that haunt the island to this day looking for the treasure they died for. The chameleon-like native people who, if they are still here at all, are hiding from the group, but potentially watching their every move. And, of course, the curse on the island that punishes the greedy with a sinking ship and a swift but likely non-merciful death. And it's with those comforting thoughts that you prepare to descend into the mountain. Although, Greylog, it was my understanding that there was something you wanted to do before going fully in.
Yes.
So
He's
that's where we'll
going
pick back up.
to... Okay, so in Draconic, he wants to project his voice, pretty much saying, if any Sarakin are able to hear me, we would like to have a meeting before entreating further into your ground.
Roll persuasion.
Oh. So obviously they can hear me. Okay.
Or he's just saying that. Honestly, I probably would do that if I was a DM.
16.
Okay, noted. As Paul and Avaben descend down into the tunnel, you hover at the entrance before calling in Draconic for the Savankeen to answer you. But after a moment, there is no response. And Bowman turns back to you with a quirked brow and an incline of the head. Satisfied?
I'd rather be polite, you know. I'd rather not get an arrow into the back or whatever.
She gives you a smirk and gestures for you to go in ahead of her.
I will proceed.
All right. Anyone else? Okay. You all descend down into the hollow epitomis of Suicide Hollow. As you enter in, and the door still hovering open behind you, letting in streaks of sunlight, but the overhang of the mountain blocks a good chunk of it out, plunging this first room into dim light, and you suspect it's not going to get much brighter going in. As those of you who can't see very well adjust a bit to the dim light, looking around, you see that this first little chamber on the other side mostly has a few what appear to be soaking wet barrels. You can see, as mentioned, some flickers of what appear to be torchlight deeper in the cave, along with a body of water and the kind of incline of what appears to be some sort of wooden structure. Paul, kind of taking a quick glance, you can see that the way forward is open. However, there is a little bit of a drop. Not enough to hurt you, just enough to where if you were like in a rush, you might have to stop and like climb it. So basically, you can slide down without issue, but if you're running, you might have to slow your ascent to get back up here if you were to run away.
That's not suspicious at all.
Okay. Greylog and Paul sharing a quiet agreement of the suspicion. Paul, you descend. And again, for the sake of convenience, does anyone not follow and have something they want to do in this room first?
I mean, if Fabian was just gonna have a look around once they got to the main little room area.
All right, roll investigation.
And you mentioned that there were wet barrels, right?
Yes.
Can I investigate the barrels?
Yeah, sure. Vaben, roll investigation with advantage.
Advantage.
And as
Let
always,
me-
give me
let
both
me-
results so I can flavor.
Let me alt tab real quick. Investigation. I do not have any pluses to investigation. Alright, first roll is a 2, and second roll is a 6.
All right.
Man.
Greylog, you start to head towards Avaben as you see him curiously investigating the barrels.
Bumps into a Vaben and knocks him over.
Well, I was just going to say Avaben's already like rifled through most of them by the time you get there. Avaben, you're not necessarily surprised, much disappointed. The barrels are all full of gunpowder, which have been completely soaked and likely completely ruined to the point of it's being entirely worthless, most likely.
Useless. Just keeps going.
All right. The two of you do not find anything else in this first chamber beyond the ruined powder.
Was this the main chamber?
Paul has just entered into the main chamber. The rest, I was just seeing if the rest of you wanted to do anything before you followed.
No, yeah, I was intending on looking around the main chamber. Vaben doesn't care about everything on the way.
Okay. And sorry if you are talking, you muted. Just to make sure you're not being passed over. Okay.
Me? No, I'm fine.
Yeah, I was just checking.
I was gonna help, maybe looking around.
Okay. Greylog, Avaben, and Asari jogging a bit to keep pace with Paul, who's marching forward steadily. You all slide down the gravel incline and, making a walk along the path, you find yourself in the secondary chamber. More than likely, given its size, this is the main one, although obviously that is a hard thing to say with absolute certainty. Looking around, you find yourself in what appears to be a massive hollow cavern within the volcano itself. Surprisingly, it's very cool in here, though, likely by the massive underground lake that surrounds a good chunk of this room. Within said underwater cave, or I keep saying underground water. You see, Avaben, you were on the right track. The little wooden structure you saw peeking out of the turn was a ship. One of several. Brigs, galleons, ships of the line, Midgard ships, riverboats, all sorts of vessels, many of them sporting damage and battle scars, littering this massive underground graveyard for them. All still afloat. The little flickers of light you were seeing are coming from the ships themselves. Likely lanterns or torches lit on them to provide some light in this cave. You don't know exactly what is on all of these ships. However, you do know, most obviously, the pathway you can still see that kind of circles around the cave itself. Goes over to, it appears to completely encircle the cavern and go to a point that you can't see on the other side of the ship graveyard. However, Paul, you do notice as you enter the room first that there is a riverboat parked not too far away from the shoreline of this cave with a gangplank drifting on the water, allowing you to board should you wish.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, that doesn't spell trap at all.
Well, Paul's gonna use the game plank then.
All right. Paul's taking the gangplank. Anyone else? So yeah,
Like,
there's
Does
Yeah.
Raven see anything else around here?
roll perception, and you're in a cave, so no disadvantage here.
Here should I get plus 12, right?
This is this is technically both forest and underdark, so yeah, I'll allow that.
Wait, hang on. Now plus 12 is my normal plus.
That just gives you up your favorite terrain.
Yeah, no, I'm saying I get plus 12 normally.
Yeah. So yeah, because of favored terrain, you will get double proficiency, so it becomes a plus 17.
Interesting.
Yeah, his proficiency is plus 5, so.
Okay, that's gonna be 19 plus 17.
Okay, noted. Greylog, sorry, anything from you? Paul's heading up the gangplank. Avaben's taking a look around from the shore.
I'm gonna follow Paul.
Yeah, I'm gonna follow Paul as well.
All right. Avaben, as your party begins to cautiously ascend the gangplank, smelling a trap every step of the way, you pause a moment on the shoreline and take a more careful look around. Given that you are in complete darkness at this point, other than the flickering embers of firelight, you are in your element, for lack of a better term. And because of that, you spot a few things. For one, you notice what everyone had assumed to be the flickering light of lanterns or torches appear to be moving. And giving a squint, you notice the faint figure of one of the flame spirits that haunt this island moving about on one of the ships. Your party is not alone here. You also notice, before anyone else does, so Greylog, don't get excited, that many of the ships have treasure scattered about. Coins, jewels, medallions, treasures and statues of all kinds. This must be the treasure hoard of the pirate who stored his loot here, whether it be Red or the Crimson Raider or perhaps even someone who came before him. You also notice that, as mentioned, the ships themselves are actually in fairly good condition. Most of them did not go down fighting. As a result, you notice that many of them still have things like guns and powder stored on them, so their weapons could be made functional at a moment's notice. And you notice that the land pathway away from the ship graveyard has several small divots and holes in the wall lining it, and there's some kind of unnatural raising and lowering of the ground along the path. The land path is booby-trapped, but you can make out a trail of bridges and gangplanks that make a way across the cavern by ship, likely the intended path for someone who is not an intruder.
Alright, which path are they currently trying to take?
Gangplank.
Okay. So basically it appears that you're meant to use the ships to get around here.
Yeah, the land path is super booby-trapped.
Yeah, let's take the landway.
Yeah, just on second thought.
So Vaben was able to notice that the boats seem to be the way to go, and that something else. What was...
Something else is here, aka the fire spirits, at least as
Oh
far as
yes,
see.
yeah,
And
the
then
fires.
There's also treasure.
Yes, well, he already could see this party getting extremely distracted by that, and we're not supposed to be thinking about it, so he's not going to mention the treasure, but he will mention that there are those fire spirits around, so try not to get, burned.
Alright. Vaben, as you warn your party and catch up with them on the gangplank, you all begin a cautious exploration of the graveyard. It's strange. Asari, you as an archaeologist can most quickly appreciate the scale of what you're walking through. Each of these ships was a concentrated effort by somebody or another to get anywhere from like tens to hundreds of people across the ocean or rivers or what body of water of your choice. And some way or another all ended up here. Completely disused and abandoned, outside of being filched for everything they were worth. Some of these ships look fairly old, although they might have just simply been outdated antiques that the pirate took. While Avaben noticed it first, the rest of you do begin to notice it as you cross a few ships. Coins strewn about. Greylog, you notice so many coins are lining the ships that they actually stick to you.
Vaben is going to watch Greylog like a fucking hawk.
Noted. There's so many coins, Greylog, that they're actually sticking to your feet and like falling off as you take steps, creating this kind of ting 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 everywhere you go.
I went for stealth. Well, they weren't really stealthing, but
Yeah, and don't worry, he hasn't forgotten about the curse. He's gonna get rid of the curse and then go for the money.
That's thinking about getting the treasure, by the way.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm saying this out of character.
well, you're still
As far as
But it indicates your in-character thoughts.
yeah, it does have some indication of in-characterness, but either way, I figured either if it has anything to do with thought process, it's gonna come out.
Can I do something funny, even though it's kind of meta?
Depends. What are you wanting to do?
Vaben's gonna, like, do like a funny, just like give him like a funny blap on the head. Like, I already know
Oh yeah,
you're thinking
yeah, that's
about
fine.
it.
Oh, that's not really that much better.
Yeah, if Haven's like, maybe just with his longbow, just kind of lightly blaps Greylog on the head. I already know you're thinking about it. You know what? You can't even think about it.
I'm not thinking about nothing.
I'm sure even Asari doesn't believe that.
Yeah, you're a really bad liar.
Okay, I'm thinking about it a little bit.
Can't even think about it a little bit.
Don't.
You don't know what the threshold is.
I know it's very hard. It's literally sticking to your feet, but come on, stay with us.
Paul, at the head of the group, you notice that across this riverboat, to get to the next ship, you would have to cross in the bridge that goes across the lake. This bridge takes you to what appears to be likely a galleon of some kind, although granted, you are not an expert on ships. More pressingly is the two flame spirits that are lingering around the other side of the bridge, precariously close to a pair of cannons that are leveled down the length of the bridge.
I guess down, a little down on the bridge, huh? I guess I will walk on the bridge.
Okay.
Does Avaven see the fire spirits near?
Yeah, all of you see this.
Does anybody else think that could be a problem?
I don't see any other way around it.
I was like, I did think about it, but
Greg, don't you have fire spirits? Couldn't it, like, commune with the other ones?
Fairly sure they're not the same.
Raven does have a book of spirits. Are they very different?
This was mentioned, I think, a couple sessions ago. Yes, while they are often confused with fire elementals, they are not true fire spirits. They just happen to, they just happen to resemble them, basically.
Yeah, they're not exactly the same thing at all. Not even in the same. They're not even in the same arena. They're not. I don't even think they're related. This would be like comparing a civilization from the western side of the world on the eastern side. Completely unrelated. Well, anyway, shall we continue?
Carefully, yes.
All right. Paul, by this point, you're about a third of the way across the bridge, and you hear the rest of the party beginning to cross. The bridge itself is actually fairly well maintained. It creaks a bit beneath the weight, especially for Paul and Asari, but beyond that, it doesn't crack or offer substantial resistance. More pressingly, however, is as the four of you begin to cross, the fire spirits whip around. Their flames, you can see, are a gleaming blue. And as the blue flames grow and flash and bite, all four of you can hear a ghostly voice whisper in common. Turn back. This treasure is ours.
Not after the treasure.
I mean, you can have it, mate. I really don't care for it.
No, we're not here for the treasure. We're here for something big and red and scary.
I can sense greed in your hearts.
Maven looks
I
at fucking
narrow
Greylog.
my eyes at Greylog.
You changed that about me. But I'm not gonna take it.
Greylog, roll persuasion.
well, while he does that, could I divine sense?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Any special creatures within 60 feet?
Yeah, I'm pulling up your character sheet so I can check what you see.
10 is not very convincing at all.
He barely convinced himself.
Very true. Greylog, you plead your case to the spirits that you will not take the treasure, but as mentioned, you are hoping absolutely to take the treasure as soon as the curse isn't holding you back. The only thing preventing you from grabbing it right now is that you don't want to get yourself or the party cursed. The spirits are not moved by your case. And Paul, I'm having trouble pulling up your character sheet, so just remind me what Divine Sense does. I apologize.
Essentially, do you know detect or the spell?
Detect good and evil, so you
yeah.
detect fae, fiends, and undead and stuff?
Yeah, fae, fiends, and undead, but of course it only has 60 feet of range and cannot hide or can't go through total cover.
Okay. Paul, as Greylog pleads his case to the spirits, you put forth your divine sense. Both of these spirits register as undead.
As you would expect.
Turn back.
What if just the greedy one turns back?
I will ask, out of character, DM to player. Do the rest of you have any intention of taking this treasure, even when the curse is lifted?
I do not.
Yeah, it's not ours to take.
Paul?
I do not have any intentions towards the treasure. My main goal is to negotiate this deal between Red and the captain.
Raven just wants to get this over with so they can get the next what you call it,
Key.
So he has no interest in this particular treasure.
Okay. For those whose souls are not tainted, you may proceed. Greed must be laid bare and stay behind.
I'll give a pat to Greylog. It's alright, you tried.
But be warned, mortals. Should deceit cloud your mind and greed your judgment, the spirits of the dead will rise to claim our treasure. You have been warned. And with that, the two spirits fade into smoke.
Well, I guess Greylog's gonna have to wait behind. Unless
Greylog
he wants to curse himself and everybody in this party.
Bowman kind of tilts their head, waiting back on the opposite side of the bridge. And think you can take the land route?
Well, I wouldn't exactly ask him to do that. I guess if you're
But well, actually, do I have any? Let me
Oh,
check
sorry, I'm gonna be
something.
right back to get some food.
Go ahead.
I do have one wild shape left, but I was trying to save that. Let's see. Spell. I guess I could use the 4th level polymorph and just fly. They never said anything about that. But do we want to risk that?
More or
It's
less,
up to you.
I say, more do you want to risk?
I guess I will wait here. And if the party gets in trouble, then yes, he will risk it. If not, he will wait.
Okay. The three of you continue up the bridge, onto the ship, and continue along. As you cross the gangplank to the third ship, that's when you begin to notice strange things. Stranger, at least, than ghosts. The three of you, as you cross onto the third ship, see a body. Not walking, strung up by its feet, connected to the high towering mast of the vessel by a string of fleshy webbing, not unlike the webbing you had seen on your way in. The body is stripped to the bone. Paul, on the next ship, you see several more. This time not even fully strung up, just webbed to the wall in groups of 2 or 3. All flesh and blood stripped from their bodies by whatever it was that ate them.
Whatever is down here. Hopefully we can take care.
At this point, you guys have reached the halfway point of your precarious journey across the water. At this point, you can see at the midpoint of the cavern, where Avaben's view of the coastal path was blocked, you can see a waterfall. Although it is completely trapped behind a wrought iron gate. One of those sluice gates that you would use to control flooding. And across the rest of the bridge from you, you can see the opposite end of the coastal path where your naval route disembarks, which again, you're about halfway across at this point. And at the opposite side, you can see a door with what appears to be a chain and lock across it, and what appears to be a small tent and long extinguished campfire built outside of it. Do you wish to keep going?
Yep.
Okay. You all continue your crossing, boarding and disembarking ships rapidly. Every gangplank and bridge a nervous exercise in weight distribution as you especially with the smaller ships, worry that a wrong misstep or misplaced barrel could be the difference between staying dry and landlocked, or depending on how heavy you guys' armor are, a potential watery grave. This lake is fairly sizable. Eventually, you make it to the opposite side, although you still occasionally catch glimpses of both the ghostly spirits and the stripped bodies that whatever is living in here has presumably been eating. You guys disembark the final gangplank and find yourselves in front of that small encampment and locked door.
Alright, I'm gonna start looking around.
Roll investigation.
Okay, dokie.
Alright, I'm
Ooh.
back. What I missed?
There's a bunch of bodies. They've been stripped to the bone. And there's a waterfall that's being blocked by a gate.
Matthew, we got it. Matthew, guidelines. They can't. You said stripped to the bone, so I'm like, Matthew, guidelines.
Mm. A gate to control flooding from the waterfall, and the party has gotten to the other side of the boat bridge, where there is a door with a chain and lock across it, and a small tent and long extinguished campfires if somebody was camping in here for a while.
D&D Beyond is not loading for me, but I rolled a 15.
It wasn't loading for me either. I think it might be down. All right.
No, I mean, I have mine. What did you, what'd you roll?
I rolled a 15.
Why am I say that? Oh, roll for me.
It's rolling for me.
It's not loading me to pull up.
Yeah, like basically, like we're having trouble pulling up character sheets.
I think it's maintenance.
You have a +3 to investigation, so 18. All right.
Oh, there you go.
Asari, taking the step forward first, you begin to rifle curiously through the campsite. From the looks of it, this fire is fairly old. It does not appear like it's been used at all recently. Although you do catch some fresher looking ash, which implies that the fire was put out a long time ago and not relit, but the log were stepped on or over at a somewhat more recent point. Beyond that, as you curiously poke and prod through the tent itself contains a bedroll, which smells heavily of that kind of noticeably alcoholic odor that heavy drinkers tend to carry with them. Beyond that, though, you don't find anything that's immediately of use. Or at least, you think you might not. Checking the logs again, which, as mentioned, the fire was out a long time ago, but the ashes and timbers looked fairly new. Kind of pushing them aside, you see buried beneath them is a small lockbox.
A small lockbox. I'll say to the group, is anybody good with locks?
Not particularly, unless you want to get them destroyed, but,
Let's see.
I mean,
is there
more than one way to skin a cat.
any reason we need the lock?
There's a lockbox here.
And
Yeah,
Ivan knows how to use the tools, but he doesn't have any.
buy some tools somewhere in town.
Well, I guess, Paul, do you wanna, force it open?
I would prefer not.
Yeah, how do we know
Alright.
that's not part of the treasure?
That's true.
Okay.
Alright.
Beyond that, Asari, you don't find any other evidence of hidden goodies in this camp. It looks like, other than this hidden lockbox, this place has been abandoned for quite some time. Judging from the logs, it seems like whoever built this only comes back to check on the lockbox or grab it periodically. Why, you don't know. But then leaves the camp unattended beyond that.
Okay. This would be a great place to stop if you guys are tired.
Are any of us tired?
Tired maybe, but I can still keep going.
As mentioned, there is a door with a chain and lock across it. The chain and lock themselves are obviously separate from the doorway.
What do I have here? Don't have anything. So, I guess I'll look.
Okay, are we wanting to open the door, or what are we wanting to do here?
I mean, we're trying to find what possibly is red. It's just that he could be behind this door. We don't know. We don't know where he is.
Well, I mean,
Only
we could
one way to
always open
find
the
out.
door.
Huh?
Yeah, let's open the door.
I was like, I guess I'll look to the party. You mentioned the possibility of unlocking something. Well, or unless one of you has any way of carefully locking this, I guess I could proceed to.
I mean, I know how, but I don't have any tools.
Possibly.
I could try to improvise.
With what?
Oh, Raven's gonna pull out a... Do I have daggers?
He's like, you may not. I think it's.
I guess Raven will pull out a pair of arrows.
Yeah, and no, you do not have daggers. You do have short swords, though.
I think Asari has a dagger. I can't check my D&D
I
Beyond
don't know,
sheet.
what do you think would be a
D&D
better set of...
I'm gonna refresh it because like I refreshed it and it worked for me now.
It still says bad gateway for me.
You have a dagger.
Well, I keep my shit open.
You have two daggers. Well,
Yeah, I can hand I've been a dagger. Will this do?
Oh no, do you think a dagger and an arrow would make good lockpicks, DM?
Nope.
I mean, you do have two daggers. One's equipped.
Do you think they would make passable lockpicks?
Two daggers.
Maybe. You gonna try?
I don't have any daggers.
Well,
All I have is...
Sorry is giving you at least one of her daggers.
Okay. Oh. Avarian's going to try to use all the tools at his disposal to try and figure out some way to pick this damn lock.
all right. Roll dexterity.
Like just a dex saving throw?
No, just a dex check.
Yeah.
Should I use, like, the top numbers?
Yes.
Yeah, you get +4.
Okay. 10.
Avaben retrieving some arrows and a dagger from Asari. You bend and start trying to pick at the lock for a couple minutes. But after a time, you realize that you're not making much headway and are forced to call it before you end up breaking your equipment.
Yeah, no, I don't have the tools for this.
Guess,
I've learned some things in my adventures, but thieving was not a very common thing back home.
It's alright. It's alright. Paul, do you think you can, break it with your big muscles?
Also, Matthew, is that an accurate description? Is thieving uncommon in his home?
Yeah, it's not very
No.
common.
I guess I will then proceed with a long sword and just go straight down onto the lock.
Roll to hit.
Not
There's
different.
some literal lock breaking.
That's at the end, I can't be like, I clicked this and automatically. I got 10.
Alright. Sorry about that, was pulling some things up. Paul, pulling back your blade. You cleave down onto the lock, ready to break your way through by any means necessary. But as mentioned, this is a fairly sizable lock hooked with a chain, and while you do manage to cut it, you do not cut through it. Your sword kind of glancing off of from the sound of it, pretty thick metal used to make this.
Thick. Guidelines. Also, I tried to look at my Caleb sheet real quick, and the page had to load. I don't get this shit. I don't get why it has to load again. I never closed it.
It probably needs to refresh, like if you haven't been in it for a while.
Yeah, I hate that. I wish I could turn it off.
But
What do you guys want to do?
idea. And then
Well, if-
I'll give it a try. I'm not that very strong, but I can give it a try.
All right, what are you doing?
try to feign.
Could I? I do have some ice spells. I can't look at my spells right now, but could I do an ice spell on the metal, and then try to break it that way?
What ice spell are you using?
Like I said, I can't look at my spells right now because D&D Beyond is down.
Let's see. You have
Chill touch.
Yeah, you have chill touch. You have ice knife. You have chromatic orb.
Yeah, ice knife.
Okay. First level, or you want to upcast?
Yeah, first level.
Roll to hit +8.
Okay. $15 + 8.
Roll damage 1d10.
1d10. Oh wait, that's not the d10. 5.
And flavor for how the spell looks.
Okay. You know how he was doing it with the dagger? Could she conjure an ice knife and do it like the same but with the ice knife?
Sure. Avaben, Asari approaches and conjures forth a spectral magical blade of pure freezing ice and begins to pick the lock with that. You all hear cracking and scratching as the mechanisms of the lock begin to freeze on contact with the blade. The lock itself begins to get a coating of ice and frost before eventually, with the same gesture you would give when you successfully unlocked a door through lockpicking, Asari kind of pushes at the knife to complete the quote-unquote lockpicking, only for the frozen lock to just completely give way and fall to the ground in half.
I guess you could say you ice-picked that lock.
Asari looks like she could appreciate that joke.
The chains fall into a loose pile with the lock not holding them together.
After you. She says this to Paul.
Paul will proceed forward.
Paul, as you open the door, you're surprised by what you find looking at you. You see on the other side of the door is a small chamber of wood, about 15 by 15, with a red switch on the other side. Looking up, there appears to be a ceiling of various ropes and pulleys that goes up into a dark tunnel that you cannot see the top of.
I cannot see the top of.
Yeah.
So, I would like to. I would like to activate my armor of glittering inspiration.
Okay.
Armor of what?
Glittering inspiration.
Homebrew item met. So, when activated once per week, for 4 hours, a light of a lantern, but in 900 feet around the wielder.
Mm-hmm.
Those within, negative features, but so giant ass bright light.
All right.
Well, dim light or bright, I don't know.
Let me double check. Believe it should be bright light. But yes, bright light. Paul, you channel, commune, and activate the ancient Dragon Knight's armor you got from Plundon. You all watch as this brilliant, gleaming light exudes off of Paul. Not too dissimilar to what he does when he's using his smiting or healing, but all of you who look at the light are immediately filled with this sense of hope and bravery. Like you can handle anything the world throws at you as long as Paul's by your side.
That is what Paul needs.
Paul, as your light shoots up the tunnel and kind of craning your neck to look that far up, you see that well above you is another doorway that basically if this room was higher up, it would be facing. Like it's in the same general direction that your current door is. Presumably, the ropes and pulleys make this into a primitive elevator. You can see some barrels and boxes that appear to be acting as counterweights.
So apparently, Laban cannot get within 5 feet of me.
Why is that?
This armor has this feature of dark elves and undead cannot even close to be within melee range. Wording on that seems.
Yeah, it's a first edition item.
You can't get within melee range. It's too bright for you.
What happens if Paul tries to get in the melee range?
I think it's just like. Now, I'm curious. So I think it also states this might. David might be not very happy about this, but light. It says something about if they penalize when they're in range of light or constant spell light. It has to be sunlight. So.
Yeah. Yeah, basically only if it's just light itself does it.
Sure.
It's okay.
Is
What
the
happened?
world ending?
It might have just been a noise in the other room or something. So, Paul, your armor's aglow. What do you wish to do?
Said I couldn't see the top, but can I see it now?
Yes, you can see that the tunnel goes up to another door similar to the one you're looking through right now. And then the tunnel, it doesn't stop. Instead, you can see that, again, this mess of ropes and pulleys in place of a rooftop scale a little bit higher than the door before curving further into the mountain, where you can see various crates and barrels that the ropes are tied to, presumably acting as counterweights.
Well, shall we proceed?
Yes, so.
They've been standing a bit on the other side of the elevator because while Paul's light is not blinding to be in the vicinity of for you, it's blinding to look directly at him.
I didn't realize the sun was going to be up in a cave.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I can't really do it very often. Assumingly, I can only do this spell once an adventure.
The rest of the party and Bowman step aboard. Paul, do you flick the switch?
Yep. Do this.
Okay. Paul, you give the red switch a flick. Avaben, you can hear over your head this and the rear end shudders and begins to lift further up. Paul, you can hear a distant splashing as if heavy things are being thrown into water. The room you're in rises faster. And eventually comes to a stop. And you find yourselves having been elevated to a point higher up in the mountain. This tunnel, with your light providing more light than Avaben has dark vision, so you pretty much, as long as there's no corners, you can pretty much see forever. You can see a tunnel that curves around and goes to the left of you. Yes, yeah, to your left. You can hear the sound of flowing water, although because the tunnel turns, you cannot see what is directly down it. The floor is still littered with various treasures, small statuettes and coins and the like.
Is there any like sign of like intelligent life?
Roll survival.
Okay. I think this is a 9.
Looking down and around, you don't see much in the way of footprints. However, you do smell a kind of fleshy smell in the air. Not quite rot, more like the scent of an open wound. That kind of sharp, irony smell of blood.
Does it seem like it's nearby?
Yeah, it seems like it's coming from further down the tunnel. Since you guys just got up here, the smell like just hit you.
Yeah, I'll just kind of alert everyone. Stay on your guard. I can smell blood.
Oh, may mean we're getting closer to our target.
I hope so.
Paul, do you lead the group further down the tunnel?
I shall.
Okay. Making your way forward. Your gleaming, inspiring armor, inspiring the party to continue forward. You continue down the tunnel. It winds left. And eventually, you come to what you can only presume is the source of Asari's complaints. To your right flows the river. And Avabin kind of craning your neck, you realize you're actually at the mouth of the waterfall, which empties out into the ship graveyard area you guys were just in earlier. Greylog, kind of licking your lips, you notice that not only is there still yet more treasure littering the ground, you even notice spots of freshly tramped earth that would indicate something valuable had been buried.
Nice.
Is he on the land path?
Yeah, the land path is the only way through here.
But did he?
Oh, you mean for Greylog? Yeah, Greylog, you stayed at the ship, correct?
Like, call him
Correct. He's only going to come
Oh,
if
yeah.
the party needed him.
I'm so used to parties not splitting up now. Sorry about that. Ignore me.
You're fine.
Your own
Paul,
mechanic is why we split the party.
Well, I figured you guys would just be like, no, we got to stick together and just kill them. So, never mind that. Ignore me. But I will say instead, Paul, you notice the signs of buried treasure. And Asari, the source of your concerns, down this land pathway that hugs the wall, similar to the coastline that you'd seen in the floor below. You see at the end of it is what appear to be a pair of cannons, almost completely enveloped in that strange blood webbing.
Cannon. Interesting. Well, either somebody was very greedy and wanted the cannons too, or there's something going on here.
So, is there like a deck or something that we can go check it out, or?
You can, like I said, there's a wall-hugging land pathway that you can take to get to where the cannons and webbing are. There's also a river flowing to your right that goes down into that waterfall in the graveyard. If you look closely, you can even see Greylog still on the path downstairs.
I'll give him a little wave.
Greylog, you see Asari waving from like way up the waterfall.
Now, does he misinterpret?
It's up to you.
I'm gonna shout up. Y'all need me?
No!
Okay.
I just thought it was fun to say hi! Just echoing through the cavern. Which way do I smell the blood?
It is coming from the webbing. You noticed in the jungle that this stuff is super organic and unsettling. It's likely that is what's producing the smell.
Unfortunately, my friends, that's gonna be our best bet. And she'll point down where the webbing is.
Can Avaven inspect the webbing?
Are you willing to get close to it, or do you want to stay kind of distance where you are?
I mean, they'll stay with the party.
Okay, roll perception in that case.
Oh. Perception? Let's see what I can see. Let us see what we can see. 27.
Avaven, you notice two things. One, at about kind of shoulder level, the wall lining the coastal path has a row of holes carved into it, and there appear to be pressure plates in sporadic locations on the floor. You also notice the rest of the party just kind of observing the surroundings. It's a small, subtle motion that you almost miss. The cannons are moving slightly. With every heartbeat-like pulse that runs through the webbing, their position adjusts to aim at your party.
By the way, those cannons are trying to shoot us.
Yeah, that's very obvious.
No, I mean, they are actively turning to try and shoot us.
Oh, shit. Do we see anybody, like,
Yeah, can Aveva try to find the source of the webbing?
Not that you can see. It appears to just be connected to the wall. Although you do notice, kind of splotches of it throughout the ship graveyard and kind of just scattered around. There is some you notice on the ceiling of both the cavern and the tunnel that you just came through.
Is there anything odd about the stuff on the ceiling?
Other than that, it's spider webbing made out of flesh and blood.
Well, yeah, other than the obvious.
No.
Do I see anybody manning the cannons, or is this, like, supernatural?
You certainly don't see anybody manning it. It's just a mess of red.
We don't even know what we can aim at.
I mean, I guess we could just shoot the cannons down.
Yeah, we could. I can fireball it. If you guys think that's a good idea, I will do it.
I mean, you could could certainly try. But I mean, how fast are they moving?
Vaben, as mentioned, you see that the movement is fairly slow. It's basically like the cannons make little minute adjustments in tune with the kind of pulsating that you would feel if you touch the webbing by hand.
It seems to be moving just a little bit at a time. Almost like maybe they were hoping we wouldn't notice.
Yeah, do you guys want me to fire a bullet?
I said I have no objections to it.
I've a bit.
I think we need to do something. I'd rather
Alright,
not wait for them to, complete their transformation.
I will cast Fireball at, let's see. Oh, D&D Beyond is finally working. 1 second. I will do it at 5th level.
Okay.
I need a dexterity saving throw for the starboard side.
So since these are both items, they auto-fail.
Okay. So, 10d6.
I'll say they can't move, but they're moving.
That would be 37 fire damage.
Okay.
And the fire spreads.
Okay. Greylog, you see this flash of light and hear this explosion. As Asari, you burn away at the organic webbing, which kind of peels back and shudders under the heat before collapsing. You have just enough time to make out a door behind them being thrown open by the blast before it suddenly occurs to you that you just loosed a fireball right at the powder den of 2 loaded cannons.
Can I just say,
Absolutely, you can.
What'd you say?
She said, "Doc."
Chicken.
oh, I'm gonna hit the ground.
Okay. I don't know if there's enough time, but could I use my white feather shield to block some of the blast for the others?
White feather
The
shield.
one that expands.
You would need a
you mean the
bonus
one I made?
action. Yeah, it would be a bonus action. You could only do this as a reaction, I'm afraid. But Paul, you hold up your shield and the cannonball detonates, missing you by a hair, and your shield blocks the worst of the shrapnel. You're in the clear. The next one. Avaben, you see the next cannonball sailing towards you, but as Asari gives her warning, you throw yourself to the ground and it manages to sail over you. Greylog, you see an explosion and then see a cannonball just fly out of the waterfall over the cavern before finally exploding against a stalactite.
Wasn't me.
As the smoke clears and your noses are filled with the smell of burnt gunpowder, you see, as mentioned, there is a door that was just blown open by the fireball, a mess of the webbing that has been burnt away, and 2 now damaged but seemingly still salvageable cannons.
Hey, I saved us some time and found a door. Let's go.
Sorry, you head to the door?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm out.
And say... Give me just a second, I have some dice to roll.
Oh, yay! I
What
totally
are we
don't
taking
regret
damage?
this decision.
Possibly.
Asari, as you start striding forward confidently, Avaben, as you pick your head up from your cover, you realize that you hadn't informed the party about the booby traps
yeah.
you spotted.
That's what I
And
thought too.
as Asari,
There's gonna be a chain reaction of booby traps going off.
Asari, you step on a pressure plate, and all of you watch as rifle barrels stick out of 3 of the holes. And Asari, you don't have enough time to duck or dodge. The muskets fire point blank into your shoulders and arms.
Oh,
You take 26 piercing damage.
Owie.
oh my. Oh my.
Oh yeah,
my.
I should have mentioned there are booby traps.
Would have been fucking nice to know, I've been.
I guess need that taken care of.
You don't mind.
Let's... Guess I'll cast Cure Wounds at third level.
Alright. Paul, you approach Asari and kind of pull her away from the booby trap and heal some of the bullet wounds.
22.
Roll heals. Nice. Asari, as Paul's hands somehow begin to glow even brighter, you 2 of the bullet wounds completely heal, and some progress is made on the 3rd. It still smarts like hell, but you're not at least on the verge of bleeding out.
Do I get?
22.
Hello?
Hello?
No, yeah, Austin said 22.
Okay, sorry. I completely lost service there for a sec.
No worries.
Alright, sorry, had to step away. What did I miss?
Asari hit the booby traps, Paul healed her, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, Vaven. Everybody heard what Vaven said, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
now
she
everyone
said that
knows
would
they're
have been-
booby trapped.
Yeah. She said that would have been fucking nice to know.
Well, you are a Britannian. Maybe you should have figured it out too.
She just glares at him. Not all of us are trained to find traps. I'm an archaeologist, not a, what are you exactly?
Oh, I'm many things.
Yeah, annoying is on top of the list.
Well, I mean, you were the one talking about how you were better than us, so.
She kind of sighs. I'm sorry that I said that, okay?
Well, I guess that's the start.
I didn't realize I was being a bigot until Anna spoke to me.
Well,
It's nice to see y'all
at least
getting
you
along.
can recognize it.
Nice to see y'all getting along, but I think we should eat.
Yeah. Let's try to keep our heads up for any more booby traps.
All right. I will say, depending on how long you guys are willing to take, Avaben, since you have a good idea of where the pressure plates and booby traps themselves are, if the party is willing to go slow, you can basically walk them through it step by step without triggering anything. But if you guys are in a hurry, you can basically run it and just hope you don't hit one.
I will try to find a path through and guide the others through.
All right, Paul, sorry, willing to take your time?
Now, what if?
What if?
Oh God.
What if?
I was just like, man, what if I just fucking bolt through it, take all the traps?
You could do that. Do you
It
wish to?
wouldn't be advisable.
I really want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see. Do I have any way to make it to where this won't hurt as much? Not necessarily. I can just make it where I won't be dead. Obviously, if I'm, I will proceed to, bolt forward, just trying to activate, go just get all the traps done. But of course,
Okay.
if I am near death, I will obviously.
Okay, so I'll note that. To save me some time, AC.
Is the party about to
AC
watch
is
in
20.
horror as our paladin just charges through all the
horror.
traps?
I don't know about
Sure, it's
horror,
not.
I mean, it'll be pretty horrific.
My AC is 20 and my HP is 102 right now.
Okay. Avaben, just as you're kind of checking the path, and then as you turn to start telling everyone, like, okay, step here, don't step here, step here, don't step here, there's just a rush of wind past you, and you just see Bowman raise an eyebrow, and as you turn, already ready with a horrified expression as Paul steps on one pressure plate, rifles stick out, but they just rattle off of Paul's armor. Paul, you start picking up speed, hold up your shield, as rifle after rifle sticks through the hole and fires, but you just tank all the bullets, none of them getting past your shield or through your armor, before finally, with a flourish, you're at the open door, and all of you just see a row of wasted muskets that just pull back into the holes. The smell of gunpowder is strong in this room.
Sorry, I would just be like, are you insane?
I think he might have gone insane.
More or less, just thought this would be quicker,
It's stupider, is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, we can fault him all we like, but I don't see a scratch on you outside of some superficial damage to your coat of arms.
Luck doesn't make it less stupid.
Yeah.
It just makes him lucky.
She kind of curiously pokes at one of the pressure plate Asari had hit, and you all watch as the rifles poke out, but with their shots expended, retract into the wall. And she gives a grin and, well, one man's stupidity is our gain. Scouts, if you would.
Cautiously step forward.
Yeah, well, this should make it easier to come back if we need to come back in a hurry, I guess.
Paul?
So what all is Greylog even hearing?
Yeah, I was gonna say Greylog.
Gunfire.
Yeah, I was gonna say about maybe a couple minutes after the explosions and cannonballs sailing over the cavern, you just hear what sounds like a firing squad let loose.
It's like he's just thinking to himself, yeah, they're fine.
Are y'all sure you're fine?
We're fine, love.
Somehow.
He is not sure about this at all.
Okay. You can certainly try.
Paul, do you open the door?
If it is not locked, yes.
Like I said, it was blown open, so
Alright.
really you just have to walk through a doorway.
Then correct, I will.
Paul, you make your way through the doorway. The rest of you crossing, no longer having to worry about just what is effectively useless rifles poking out of the holes in the wall. Moving into the next room. Of course, this is a continuation of the river that's flowing through these chambers. The next room makes you glad that you left Greylog where he was. In this room is mountains of treasure. Silver, gold, jewels, velvet rugs and ornate chairs, weapons. Asari, you see a few items that you suspect are likely enchanted. But the seeming centerpiece of all of this is a small bowl, seemingly a ritualistic one that would be used for burning incense, similar to the one you had seen in the temple in Levant. The river goes through this area, but seems like it almost gets slowed and clogged by the treasure, because you guys are seeing all the treasure I'm mentioning just lining the coast. There's presumably a lot more in the water, especially if Aben, you notice literal mountains of coins that are built on the riverbed upwards and poke out of the water and form formidable towers of coins.
Oh, Greylog would have gotten us all killed in here.
I'm doubtful of killed, but you would have definitely probably made the situation a bit more
Difficult.
in a sense, just if this curse thing is as it says it is.
Paul, at the opposite side of the coastal pathway, literally requiring you to climb over piles of treasure. You all can see what appear to be a series of switches. One of which is down, the other of which is up. The one on the left down, the one on the right up, if you're curious. The one that is up has some red bionic webbing locking it in its position, not allowing it to be moved. The left the left switch is held down, but with nothing forcing it to stay in place. Looking around, there appears to be no obvious way forward. However, Vaben, you do notice that, of course, the river continues further into the mountain unabated. You can see some flickering light coming from wherever it appears to end up. Although if you tried to go down that way, you would, of course, be swimming upriver, and you don't know what's on the other side. But at least by land, there's no way to go any further.
Anyone have any ideas?
My only assumption would be the switches. One seems like it doesn't want to be, or someone didn't want to be switched.
Yeah, I mean, no. Let's just, when in doubt, push a button. And don't stop pushing buttons.
This is how
Can
Greylock is a
Vaven
lone
see in there?
survivor.
And one more time, Avivan.
What? Can Vaven take like a little detailed look around, like perception check and all that?
Yeah, I'll ask Ivaben, do you think that, it doesn't look trapped?
Did I think what?
Traps.
Does it look trapped? Like, does it look like there would be traps?
Yeah, do you find any traps?
I don't know, does Vaven see any traps?
Roll perception.
I get plus 12. It is his favorite terrain, right?
Yeah, I'm counting this as Underdark.
So I get plus 17. So it's gonna be 26.
Avivan, taking a look around, you don't see any pressure plates, any signs of booby traps hidden away, no tripwires, no cables. I will say something you do find at least noteworthy is that, unlike the previous room, you cannot see, even with your formidable vision and the light being provided by Paul, so you're not even really relying on seeing in the dark, you cannot see what these switches control, nor where the river is coming from. Although you do notice, with a high enough perception, rather unusually, there is the pathway I mentioned where you'd be swimming upriver to see where the source of it is. It's coming from further down, which means the water has to be flowing upwards to get here.
Flowing upwards?
Yeah.
Well, water isn't supposed to do that.
I don't know. I could see it.
Can I even try to see if it's like coming out of something?
As mentioned, it goes down and turns to where you can't see what's further down it, but you do notice some flickering light, implying either a torch, a fire spirit, or some other source of light.
Water seems to be doing weird things.
Other than that, I will say the only other thing you notice is, as mentioned, there's just these little towers of treasure that form sort of artificial islands, but the centerpiece of them, like I said, appears to be that bowl-like item that has a similar artistic depiction as the last one you had seen. The image of a lion, a leonin, a Nekomata, or lion man, in dark, wicked-looking armor, in battle against whatever powerful spirits this art is meant to be portraying.
So wait, it had someone in armor fighting the spirits?
Yeah, basically just fighting. The last one you saw had him fighting Quetzalcoatl. This one has him fighting multiple, presumably spirits of some power, but you cannot identify them, at least not at a glance.
Can Vaven use the book?
You begin to flip through your book and see if you can't find an identification of the spirits shown in the art. In the meantime,
Where did Vaven see the first one again?
Back in the temple at Levant, which was then taken to the halfling shop.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
In the meantime, Paul and Asari, what are the two of you doing?
Paul is a new object.
So what else is there to look at?
Like I said, there's a crap ton of treasure in this room. The switches and whatever's up the river.
What conclusions did we draw from the switches?
Paul is interested in pressing them, given that, like I said, there is no obvious way forward unless you want to try swimming upriver. But again, you have no idea where that goes, and Avaben pointed out to you guys that the water's behaving very strangely.
I'll look to Paul. Do you want to push the buttons, or can I?
Well, I mean, you could certainly try. It's one of them seems to be, sort of stuck.
How is it stuck?
The black ichor, or like the black stuff, or the black and red, like gooey thing is covering it. Essentially, like making it to where this is gonna be hard.
Can I cast Prestidigitation and clean it up?
No, you would have to actually like do what you did with the cocoon and like destroy it or pull it off.
Okay. Well, fire really seemed to do it, but I don't have any small fire. I will do Shocking Grasp.
Roll to hit.
Let's see. It plus 8. $22.
Roll damage.
Alright, that would be 15 lightning damage.
Alright. Paul, while Avaben curiously looks over the bowl and cross-references with his spirit guidebook, you watch as Asari's fingers begin to twitch with electricity. She grasps tightly onto the flesh. The smell of burnt body fills the room, and the webbing...
Is that a smell that Avaben is familiar with?
At this point, yes.
At this point.
And as the smell of bacon fills the room,
Bacon.
the webbing that was in your grip burns away. The rest just sloughs to the side of the wall and switch port, freeing the lever that had been locked in an upward position.
Now I'll ask you again. Do you want to push the buttons, or can I?
I mean, if you wish to, but
I really want to push the buttons.
I mean, I don't necessarily have any objections to it, so...
I'm gonna start button pushing.
Alright, so do you want to flick the left one into an upward position or the right one into a downward position? Or both?
I'll do both.
Okay. Sorry, you crank both levers. Nothing happens.
I'm gonna have them both facing up.
Okay. Greylog.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy. And here he's been trying to be good.
You notice the water coming from the waterfall begins to thin. Asari, Paul, Avaben, you all notice it too. There's a distant the sound of many small tinkling objects being set loose from containment. Avaben, the water that flows around the coins beneath your feet begins to thin. The cavern begins to dry. As something or someone further upriver clogs it and stops the water flow. Greylog.
Hey, it's improvement.
Greylog, whenever the water flow is completely halted and the waterfall thus no longer exists, when all you're left with is the ambient sounds of the lake, you see where the waterfall had been. A small cave carved into the wall, heading further into the mountain and out of sight.
Let's see. Do I have any way to contact the others?
It's yelling.
Well, at this point, y'all are probably even too far for me to even be able to yell.
Is he DM?
Yes, no, you guys are several rooms ahead, and he's on the bottom floor.
I'm going to cast Summon Beast
Okay.
at first level.
Okay.
And it's going to be a flying creature.
All right. Any preference on what?
We're going to have it be a small little falcon, something that they would know it came from me.
Okay.
Level. So.
Yeah. It's Summon Beast.
Yeah, no, I thought I heard you say first level.
Nope, the second level.
All right. Greylog, you conjure your tiny falcon and send them to regroup with the rest of the party.
Pretty much he's going to have it, and it's going to go, like, annoy them until they start trying to follow it.
Okay. In the meantime...
Hinting for it to go back.
Alright, noted. In the meantime, for the rest of you, you just see the river dries up, and all of the treasure at the bottom of the riverbed is exposed. You realize there is no silt or soil not covered in gold. With the river dried up, there's so much treasure you could just fill your pockets with right now.
Well, that is certainly a tempting sight.
Aha!
If you were Greylog.
Yeah, I love him so, but I'm really glad he's not here.
We would be doomed.
Do you guys see anything else? I'm gonna look around and see if I see anything else.
Asari, roll perception.
Perception.
And since,
Perception.
Okay.
since Paul's got everything brightly lit, no disadvantage.
Alright.
Per-
Come on, D&D Beyond.
Perception.
How about you stop being a dick? Your cooperation is greatly appreciated, D&D Beyond. Oh, ooh, okay. That's a dirty 21.
Asari, you realize two things. One, as unnatural as the water flow, as Aveba noted, is, it stopping like that after you heard something heavy likely implies that it was clogged with something. As mentioned, that whatever it was sounded like a bunch of smaller objects that tinkled against each other as they fell.
Mm-hmm.
While you cannot see it to confirm it, you can assume that likely a lot of coins and shinies were dropped to clog the river. However, you also note that the light you had been seeing from the tunnel is no longer there.
I'm gonna look to the boys. No intel, Greylug, but a bunch of coins just fell in the water. I think that we should check on the others. Maybe see if there's other things that we can find out about this Walter.
And I'll say it's at this point that Greylog's falcon arrives. A small peregrine falcon flies into the chamber from down the river and begins to circle around all of your heads, squawking and shrieking wildly.
Do I recognize this falcon?
Greylog, have you ever summoned this before?
No, but he has turned into falcons before.
So you recognize it as a falcon.
Okay. That might be Greg.
Is there usually some kind of indicator whenever it's him just in a disguise?
In disguise? I don't think it's disguise.
You know what I meant.
No, I'm saying that in character.
Yeah, Vamon's like, you know what I meant.
I mean, I guess the one would know would be a sorry, but
I guess I'll go out to where we left him.
Okay. Which the falcon calms and begins to flutter along with you. Paul of Aben, do you follow?
As well she does that, I'll ask of Aben. Any suggestion on the next move?
I'm not really sure, to be honest.
Guys, Greg might have found something. Come on.
Do you want to go see what they're talking about?
Well, I don't see why not. And better than what we're doing here.
Yeah, right now we're just kind of wasting time.
I don't know about that, but alright, let's go.
Alright. Bowman throws a last look down the tunnel before following you guys out. You make your way across the treasure room, down the hall, and now you guys notice it too. With the river stopped, the waterfall's no longer there. And Greylog, you see the party return along with your falcon.
Point at the big cave underneath the waterfall. That might be promising.
Yeah, you're right.
The other way seems to be a dead end, so it's the best we got.
Paul, you good to head downstairs and check out the cave with Greylog?
Yep.
Okay.
He's very tempted to go this time with everything he's been hearing.
Oh no.
Do you want to?
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
Come on, Jeremy, be good boy.
if it's a different direction, Spire Spirits won't go after you until you start taking stuff.
Like, okay, is it a different direction from where they were telling me not to go?
Yes, the cave is at where the waterfall is, which is just at the midpoint of the cavern. So yes, technically you could head into this cave without going in the exact direction they told you not to go. Although you would still need to get there either by the land path or swim.
Okay, he's going to, because he has no idea about booby traps, but it would be reasonable to think that there might be booby traps, right?
It's up to you.
I guess he will start walking on the path.
Make a dex save.
Yeah.
This time it's not even attack.
30, 20.
It's a saving throw.
Okay. You succeed the save, you will take half. If I can find my other... There you are. Alright, half that. Greylog, as the party disappears, presumably to head back to the elevator and get down to you, you head back down the gangplank and start making your way around the winding coastal path. And as you do so, you feel a stone beneath your foot.
And I even mentioned it that time.
Yeah. And while you do have enough time to start running and dodging, spears begin to fling out of holes in the wall, and you are nicked along the arms and back and chest a few times, taking 7 piercing damage in total.
That's not too bad.
You want to keep going?
Yes, but he's going to be a lot more cautious. Because it could be that bad.
Roll stealth at disadvantage.
Nine.
Okay. Okay. Roll 3 dex saves.
Oh, shit.
Okay. 12, natural 20, and 10.
Okay. Nine piercing damage. Five piercing damage. 5 piercing damage. Greylog, you think carefully. Where would I put booby traps if I was designing this place? You slink. You take a careful step. Fuck it, you start running. Spears come out every step of the way, and every single one of them nicks you somewhere. Arm, elbow, shoulder, neck. One even catches your
Does
forehead.
the party
One
see
catches...
this?
No, you guys catch the immediate aftermath. As you descend the elevator and step back out into the abandoned campsite with the lockbox still in the ashy timbers, you see Greylog covered in blood, sprinting down the coastal path.
good. Sorry, she's just gonna go up to him. Never a dull moment with you, is it?
I love.
Yeah, whether it's setting off every booby trap in an area or getting into staring contests with evil trolls.
Oh, I don't want to hear shit after everything I heard up there. Somebody set off a whole lot more than I did.
Yes, but I mean, we also avoided a barrage, so.
Yeah, I mean, well, the only thing I would say differently.
That was Paul's stupid idea.
Yeah, you say that, but all the booby traps are taken care of, so us going
Again,
back here.
being lucky does not make your idea good.
I mean, first off, luck can play a part, but like I said, coming back here would take longer.
There's a difference between luck playing a part and just being lucky.
I disagree, but you know, either way, what happened and made things easier.
The difference is there's relying entirely on luck, and then there's having luck play a part. If you rely entirely on luck, you're gonna get burned eventually. That's the nature of luck.
Well,
It always runs out.
I guess you could say it was a mixture. Luck and also the fact that I knew I was, at least if anything, more capable of taking the hits, but anyway.
Looking at the cave, you can see it's made of a different material than the rest of the surrounding rock and stone. You see that it's made of a dark, kind of blackish purple substance. It's cool to the touch, almost like glass. And Greylog, you notice looking at your feet that there are a variety of mushrooms growing here, likely a result of the moisture provided by the waterfall.
Do I recognize them?
Roll nature.
Eight.
You recognize these as a medicinal mushroom that is often used to treat injuries. Pretty common among doctors.
Yes,
What
of
did
course.
he roll?
An 8.
He's going to
Oh, good. I saw that
he's
before.
going to save them.
Roll survival.
$19.
Okay. You harvest about 5 of the mushrooms.
Medicinal herbs. Could can make some medicine.
Yeah. And yes, I will say, since you brought it up earlier, before I mentioned the mushrooms, yes, Jeremy, the at least like basically from DM's mouth to player ears, even if your characters don't necessarily have the word for it, yes, this appears to be made out of obsidian.
Yeah, guys.
Which, Paul, this material is actually familiar to you. You encountered it in the Goblin settlement in Levant.
The goblin.
I know it was a long time ago. I'm not surprised if you don't remember. I just thought I'd mention it.
I mean, I'm assuming since only Paul recognized it, it's what, before
Yes.
the long break. Yeah.
Yeah, Red hadn't even left yet by that point.
But guys, someone in chat is offering followers, viewers.
Oh shit!
And chat bots.
Ah, dope.
incredibly flexible, and for flexibility and convenient order management panel.
Yeah, they're so flexible, and how about they take it and, shove it up their asshole?
I like how they're also trying like a lot of places now have where it will ban links.
So yeah, they typed it out as .com.
Yeah, they put their site space dot space the actual word dot and then space com. I would totally ban you if I could.
Aren't you on the?
No. Well, I guess I can go on the website.
Yeah, you're streaming.
Yeah, but I didn't pull up the website. I don't have it on the website.
Anyways, in the meanwhile, I would also like everyone to please make me Constitution saves.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Okay.
Just one from everyone.
Constitution save. Ooh, I am
Save.
good at it.
I will keep in mind.
I got a 16.
Noted.
I got a 21.
Noted. Paul?
Alright, well, first off, I would like to keep in mind two things. I myself is immune to disease, and everyone, myself and everyone within 10 feet of me is immune to charm and frighten.
Alright, charmed or frightened do not come up, but you are immune to disease, which I will note. What do you get for your roll?
But, as well as everyone gets a +3 to the saving throw.
Oh, noted.
Con, right?
Yes, con save.
I got a 9. That's after the +3. So
Okay.
9.
You are immune to disease. Are you immune to poison?
No.
Okay. Greylog?
I got an 8. But with his +3, it's an 11.
Okay.
But I'm going to give Paul guidance.
Alright.
So
Paul, roll a
that's
d4.
a D4.
Okay. That would make that a 10.
Okay. Paul, as you harvest your mushrooms and Avaven and Paul reach the end of their conversations, Greylog, you notice your throat starts to feel kind of tight. You start to cough. You notice Paul is beginning to do the same, so you hit him on the shoulder with guidance, but it doesn't seem to do any good. The two of you feel these lumps form in your throat as you begin to cough. You are both poisoned.
Mm-hmm.
Is everybody else poisoned?
No, you and Asari succeeded the save.
Yeesh, what's going on?
Is there something wrong?
Just, I guess something here is not very. Mainly, it seems like we should get out of here as quickly as possible.
I mean, we did that.
Paul.
The only thing here that I can see are the medicinal mushrooms.
What medicinal mushroom?
These ones that I'll show it to her.
I've been you're from in the Underdark. Are these medicinal at all?
What, the mushrooms?
Yeah.
Does Avaven recognize the mushrooms? Matthew?
I heard rolling and then.
Oh, sorry. Roll nature. Like I said, I'm mute whenever I'm not.
Give me 1 second.
So you mute, but I heard a roll there. There's something going on.
Shh.
Okay. What's going on? What am I rolling again? I'm sorry.
Nature. To see if you can identify the mushroom, which I will say is a kind of almost like salmon
Do I get
colored.
the bonus for nature checks as well?
Not here. Asari is assuming it's a Underdark plant, but it's actually not.
Okay. Still plus 10.
Yeah, it's kind of
So,
salmon colored with yellow
26.
spots. Avaben, this, as I mentioned, this is not, in fact, a Underdark mushroom. Greylog is right, actually, that it is medicinal, but it's not without its side effects. This is a type of mushroom known as the parasite.
Oh no.
When one breathes in the raw, unfiltered spores, the fungus takes root in your throat and begins to grow until you suffocate. Once you're dead, the fungus takes control of your body and begins to pilot it in a facsimile of life.
Oh.
From
Well,
the
this
coughing, Paul and Greylog are in the process of being converted.
Does Avaven remember how to get it out?
You know that spicy foods will drive the fungus into a hibernetic state and potentially, if it's spicy enough, even straight up kill them. Your people, as treatment for them, because while they are not super common in Perugia, they do appear here and there. Your people will traditionally use essentially particularly spicy herbs, which, yeah, just taking a spoonful will, if not completely annihilate the fungus, at least purge it enough to buy you time to get to a hospital.
What are the alternatives if we didn't have spices?
Wait about an hour and the problem will solve itself. You do also know, however, that your people, the Wood Elves in particular, are very aware of this. The fungus is actually sentient and can be reasoned with.
Okay, so here's the thing. Does Avaven know the name of this fungus again?
Parasite, spelled with a Y.
You have yourself a case of parasite poisoning.
Oh, that sounds really bad.
Basically, well, back home we would say you are probably dead.
Well,
And soon will be dead walking.
I might be able to help with that. But
Because unless one of you have something very spicy, basically the spores are now going to grow in your throat until it suffocates you, and then they will use your bodies as meat puppets. Usually we would prescribe something extremely spicy that can actually destroy it. I don't think we have anything like that. So your only other option may be to, try to make a deal with it.
well, I may have a third option.
Yes.
And I'm gonna go to Greylog and put my hand on him. I'm gonna use Lay on Hands. 5 points of my Lay on Hands to neutralize or to cure a disease or neutralize a poison affecting the creature. As you said, it is a poisonous parasite.
Yeah, it's not something you want to mess with.
Paul, indeed you are correct. It is it takes on the form of a poison during early stages of infection. You approach Greylog and begin to pump healing energy into the would-be mushroom harvester. And Greylog, as you feel Paul's healing energy pump through you, Paul, how much lay on hands do you pump? Just so, because Greylog might heal, will heal from this as well, if I recall.
No, I think I could just use 5 points of HP.
Oh, so you just use it, and it doesn't heal them, but it does get rid of a poison. Okay.
At least that's what it sounds like. Yeah. Or 5
Okay, okay.
HP to either heal or neutralize poison.
Okay, yeah, so it's either. Okay, thank you. Greylog, as Paul's hands begin to glow and he places them on you, you feel the fungus in your throat begin to wane and disappear. Your breathing becomes clear.
Thanks.
And seeing as it works for him, I will proceed to do it to my.
Paul, using a bit more of your healing energy, you purge the fungus from your own throat. Now all that's left is the mushrooms in Greylog's clutches, and what ones are still growing on the ground around you. Now seeming a lot more sinister, now that you know what they are.
Well, that happened.
I do think we should, get out of here before. I guess more.
Yeah, it's not pretty stuff. By the way, Matthew, would Avaven have any particular anecdotes about this?
Like I said, it doesn't super commonly occur, especially in your part of the world. It's more that you get cases of it here and there, and understandably promptly destroy it when it presents itself. So you don't have a lot of personal experience with it, although I'm certainly not going to shoot you down if you want to provide an anecdote of your own.
So it's not like something that's native to the region?
No, it does not grow there. Again, it pops up occasionally, but more because spores, either through the Underdark or through smugglers, got brought over. Because as mentioned, the mushroom is medicinal, but all attempts to grow it for its medicinal properties, understandably, often result in infections.
Yeah. What is its medicinal property?
It can be used to make healing potions.
Of that. Mixed feelings towards the implications.
Yeah?
I was like, take the mushroom, which is sentient, grind it down, and make healing.
Yeah, bear in mind, if a druid... if a druid talks, each individual mushroom is sentient and has thoughts and feelings.
And then we grind them into healing potions.
But it's okay, because they also will turn us into zombies if given the chance. So, it's a little give and take.
So technically, I could try to talk to these little things.
Absolutely, you could. Like I said, if you can't cure it, that's actually your only option for survival.
Just basically beg.
Because
I got a horrible idea.
Probably.
Yeah, I was like.
Yeah, what else is new?
I was like, oh, I heard
Do you guys
talk to him. I was like,
Do you guys think we could try to use these mushrooms against Red? They would love a host. We could give them a host.
I doubt it.
Not
Seems
entirely.
Seems like it'd be a lot of trouble just trying to
Yeah.
get used to these like that.
It doesn't seem like a very good idea. I'm sorry.
Well, honestly, I mostly just don't think it would work. I think he already has a parasite and make his stronger.
Are you alluding that he's got something keen?
I mean, he implied that he has a bit of a thing involving.
A Savad Keen is not a parasite.
I don't know much about this Stephen King thing.
I don't know a lot either, but I know at least that much.
Don't they? Aren't they? Are they parasites, Matthew? Or am I thinking of something else?
You're thinking of something else.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Well, if we're not going to commune with the fungus, where to next?
Well,
Ooh, let's follow this alcove cave tunnel thing that showed up.
That's our best bet.
Very well. Paul, can you provide more of this field cure for the infection?
I mean, I could do it as. I could do it a fair amount, but be a limit. But yes, I can. At the moment, yes, I could do more.
Good.
Are you require any assistance in that regard?
Well, and she kind of cranes her head around you to look at the cave. I don't imagine this little patchwork is the only cell of them growing, and on the off chance I am infected, I'd rather come back to my troops alive.
Well, do you feel like you are currently choking?
Not yet, but if we plan to go this way, I don't imagine that will be the case forever. My immune system is strong, but I've heard the horror stories of these things. Britannia has lost entire medical cargoes trying to deliver these things. One spore gets loose and the entire ship is lost.
Yeah, I remember a story of a caravan that passed near Sherwood that had some of this stuff. Apparently they ran into something, never found out what, and the crate came open on them. Luckily, they were part of a caravan that included a spice wagon.
She gives kind of a ruing smile, and I've heard some eccentric chefs like to use it as a delicacy for recipes despite the dangers. Or maybe because of them.
That's not surprising. Especially if it's among humans. They seem to like to flirt with death a lot.
What can we say? We like to push the boundaries. Mr. Paul, if you would, lead the way, kindly.
Alright. I will proceed onward.
All right. Paul, Greylog, Constitution saves. Those who succeeded the first time are immune.
Oh boy.
You still have the +3 from me.
Yes.
Can I give myself guidance?
Are you a willing creature?
Yeah, I believe, unless it says otherwise, you should be able to.
As long as you're a willing creature, yeah.
How's an 11?
Okay. Paul?
I got a 19.
Okay, you succeed and you are now immune. Paul, you do as the captain says and lead the charge. The rest of the party following in after you. The tunnel is not so cramped that it forces you on your knees, but cramped enough to where you're all kind of having to hunch your backs in order to comfortably squeeze through. Lining your feet are more of these parasite mushrooms. They rattle and shake, almost like they hiss when you get too close. Paul, you trying not to crush too many of them, given their understood sentience, slowly make your way forward. The rest of you, your immune systems, having learned how to fight them, at least for the time being, are keeping the spores at bay. But Greylog, as you take a step, this cloud of yellowish-orange spores kicks up in your face, and you immediately feel more seeds taking root in your throat and lungs.
Can I try to commune with them?
How do you wish to do so?
Do you think they would, like... He's gonna try speaking in Druidic?
Alright, and what do you say?
I understand that y'all are sentient. Is there a way that I could make a deal with y'all to not kill me? And we could work out a deal.
You mumble this to yourself in Druidic. There is no response.
He's gonna try pretty much every language he's got.
You try Sylvan. You try Undercommon, Primordial, Draconic, Celestial. The mushrooms do not yield, nor do they respond. And behind you, you can hear Bowman beginning to let out kind of wheezing. Damn mushrooms! She drives her sword through one of them, spitefully.
I will, hearing her cough, will go to her and be like, oh, they're just, I mean, we are intruding on their home, and I will assumingly she is infected, I will heal her.
Wait! Not yet. I have an hour. We need to get through this tunnel. No sense getting them out just for them to go back in. Keep moving.
He's got one more ditch last effort. He's gonna focus on the nature itself and think more inward for it than actual verbal responses.
Desperately, you turn your druidic sense inwards. While many druids can commune with plant life freely, it is a subject that you haven't quite gotten the hang of. Turning your attention inwards, nothing answers you. However, you do begin to hear something. A thought, almost, in the back of your mind, unbidden, as the fungus begins to take root. We'll always be with you.
Dog has a friend. Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, Red has a parasite, you guys get parasites of your own. Wouldn't be fair if only Red had one.
Does it feel like they're not trying to kill me at least?
Nope. Given that your breaths are whistling when you take them, no, still trying to kill you.
Oh, well, he tried.
You guys continue through the cave, Greylog and Bowman choking on the spores and fungus taking root in their throats.
gonna say, can I note that like Avaben makes a point to try and avoid getting spored?
Yeah.
Do I have to roll something for that?
No. Once you succeeded the first save, you got immunized to the spores themselves. So I don't mind just allowing that you're trying not to get any on you either.
Yeah, just to be on the safe side.
Eventually, thankfully, the tunnel mouth empties out, and you all find yourself in another room. Immediately, Paul Bowman pulls you aside by the collar, places your hand on her shoulder, and just glares as she silently calls medic in a shooter game.
No need to be, no need to, worry. I will take care of you.
She pats you on the shoulder, and my thanks. She glares at the tunnel, almost silently scolding the fungus for daring to infect her.
There, this fungus.
Fix your friend.
I guess I will go to Greylog and you're doing all right, and we'll stay on hand.
All right, Paul. You pump more healing energy into Greylog, and Greylog, as before, you hear one last mental echo, "Will always be with you," before the fungus wanes, shrinks, and dissolves away beneath Paul's healing magic.
So now I have to wonder, is it still technically there?
I was like,
Just
I did say it was
neutralized.
waning. That implies there would be a period of waxing.
Hmm.
As those of you who were infected catch your breath and the rest of you just stretch your backs, grateful to be out of the cramped tunnel, you take a look at your immediate surroundings. Initially, you instinctually have a moment of worrying that you just went in a giant circle, until you realize, no, this is different. You're in another part of the lake, or rather, you're somewhere else. Looking, you see two circular holes cut into the ceiling of the cavern. On one side, you see a divot in the cavern that's filled with water. Unlike before, where there were several ships, this one just has one. Although this ship appears incredibly dilapidated. The mast is torn asunder and cracked. The cannons appear non-functional. Parts of the deck are covered in mold, and the parts of the keel are covered in barnacles. But a ship it is, nonetheless. On the other side, separated only by a thin strip of what appears to be that same purplish glass-like material. A 5-foot bridge, just wide enough for someone to walk across one at a time if they wanted to. On the other side of that from the water, you see lava. A massive lake of it. The cavern is swelteringly hot. And you realize that the mushrooms are occupying this little sweet spot where the intense heat of this cavern meets with the intense coolness of the other and creates this perfect moist mixture. Something that not just the mushrooms appear to be taking advantage of, Avaben, your eyes go upwards, and you realize that where the water directly touches this material, it of course steams and evaporates and flows upwards into those two chimneys in the ceiling. Where they go, you're not sure. Although I will say, given your ranger sense of direction in an underground space like this, you realize this may be connected to the strangely flowing river you saw. You also see several more parasite mushrooms lining these walls, or these little cavern walls. Looking around in this room, at least that you can see, there's no treasure. Just the lake of lava, what this material is known as Istli, this Istli bridge, and a water lake. Parts of it being evaporated by the lava, the rest still, supporting this broken and dilapidated vessel that floats in the center of it.
Do we see any flag or markings on the ship?
Roll perception.
Uh, 15.
Making your way around, you see that the nameplate of the ship is missing. And as mentioned, the mast is broken by whatever destroyed it. However, I will note, most of the destruction appears, while certainly extreme, not necessarily like remarkable in and of itself. Like a ship could feasibly get into that state while seafaring. What does make you note it as odd is the nameplate, or where one should have been. Rather than being destroyed by what appear to be natural forces, this was torn apart. Visible claw marks raking through the wood of the ship. The nameplate presumably either lost to the water below, potentially even thrown into the lava to burn it. Either way, someone did not want this ship identified.
I think we found your pirate.
How deep are the scratches?
Fairly deep. I'd say by a guesstimate about 3 inches to 6 inches.
Can Avaben identify these scratches?
As in, like, what made them?
Yeah.
Roll nature.
Nature.
Guidance.
15.
You may add a d4.
Add a d4. Do I have a d4? Yes. Okay, so that's going to be 18 now.
Taking a look, you do not know the creature that created this. However, I will add that, or rather I will provide, as Avaben, you take a closer look, heading over to where Greylog was to take a look at the back of the ship. Given the positioning and angle of the claw marks, whatever made them had to have been humanoid.
Interesting.
5 fingers, claws that would appear to be gripping. It likely was a humanoid of some kind, or at the very least something with humanoid hands.
Interesting. Avaben's gonna be like, I might be right. It would take... Obviously, I can't think of any humanoid that has claws sharp enough to take 3-inch gashes into wood like that. Wood's stronger than most people think it is, but it would definitely match up with a humanoid hand making those scratches. Trust me, a human who lets their nails grow out is not going to make that kind of scratch.
It hurts immensely.
call out to him.
If you want to announce your presence, I guess.
Oh, he's already aware we're here. I'm sure.
We haven't
He,
been
doesn't,
exact-
he may
I
not
mean,
know exactly where we are.
well,
He knows we're certainly in
I
here.
will state, unless it's been 4 hours, I'm still shining like a fucking.
Yeah, which, yeah, it's only been like an hour at most.
So I am still very much bright.
Oh yes, I almost forgot about that.
I almost forgot my eyes were burning. Alright.
To be fair, if he doesn't look directly at you, it's at least manageable.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
But you said he was a captain, right? Paul?
Don't.
Well,
think
is he?
I said that, but I think it might have been mentioned. But I think he mentioned that at one point. He never really showed any crew or anything, or ship. But either way, I know the first at least attempt is us to negotiate with them.
Well, let's try. Maybe you should call out to him. He'll recognize you, possibly. Might respond better.
Yes. I guess. Paul will kind of step forward and. If you are there, Red, we wish to at least attempt to negotiate peacefully. But I would like to ask what you've been up to.
There's a moment's pause. Your words echoing in the cavern, met initially only by the dripping of water and the bubbling of lava, before an action so slight you almost wouldn't think anything of it. A lantern light flicks on in the captain's quarters. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
I knew that was his ship. There's no other way.
I was like, yeah, he never had a ship himself, at least when he started.
Not on screen.
Yeah.
There was some backstory stuff.
Oh, yeah. He never showed any ship, yeah.
Venturing into the heart of Suicide Hollow, you all explored deeper, ignored the temptations of treasure abound.
Up for Greylog.
Well, to be fair, Greylog hasn't actually grabbed anything yet. Yeah, like, he had coins literally stuck to his feet and didn't pocket any of it, so that counts for something.
Yeah.
And have found, nestled in a hidden away compartment of the ship graveyard, the crown jewel of the collection, or at the very least it seems that way given the security. A dilapidated ship with someone aboard who answered Paul's call. Check out our website at officiald5hub.info. Down for maintenance at the moment, but soon to be resurrected from the grave like a filthy necromancer infected with filthy mushrooms. Check out our link in chat to join our official D5 Discord server if you want to hang out with us directly. Support our episodes posted on Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Google Podcasts, and the iHeart Podcast Network, wherever you happen to get your podcast from. For our audio listeners, catch us live on Mondays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time on twitch.tv/Odd Tornado Productions. Check out Odd Tornado Productions official on Tumblr to find links to our other work, including our Paladins Twitch channel at twitch.tv/AustinFreak123. If you enjoy what we do, please support us on Patreon. That link to be posted in chat. On Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/oddtornadoproductions, and follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/tornadoodd, TNO capitalized, if you want to get immediate updates whenever we go live, as well as updates on all of our other work. And if you want to see more of this party, plus or minus a few, tune in tomorrow, Tuesdays at 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time, for our Tuesday game of Black Ink and Blue Blood, featuring a party of politicians and nobles trying to unravel political conspiracy if they can stop stabbing each other in the back long enough. We took a brief break last week, but this next week we will be starting up again with our new arc, Jailbreak. Thanks everyone at the tables so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so
Say
much for watching.
jailbreak.
Jailbreak.
I thought you said shale break.
Thanks everyone at the tables so much for playing. Thanks everyone at home so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week.